This is Ben Sommer. I own and operate BandsLikeRush.com, a music discovery podcast and blog featuring up-and-coming progressive rock bands. Enjoy this video edition of the podcast and check out my own music. Visit my website at bensummer.com. If you sign up for the email list, you'll get 3 free downloads. Hi, this is Ben Sommer. I'm with BandsLikeRush.com. I'm talking today with another Brit, 2 in a row this time. Tony Bodimead. Bodimead, sorry. From the UK band Limeshark. Tony, I was just referencing, I interviewed a London-based fellow last time, and seems there's more and more good prog rock coming out of UK. Tell me about yourself, your band, and what you guys are all about.
We've been going since, I think, 2002, 2003. That's right from the very beginning, but I had to try different people out, different personnel to see who would work. Some people have sort of fallen by the wayside, but the bass player and I are still going. We're sort of rock, but we edge on prog, and we're constantly told we sound similar to Rush. To be honest, Rush are one of my favourite bands. I've always enjoyed them right from the early years, and I suppose it must be embedded in there, and I can't help it.
Yeah.
But just the way we play and the way we arrange songs, I don't like. It's not that I don't like, but I'm not keen on playing covers or songs that sound similar to. There's like a general sound that some rock bands have, and I think Rush are similar to that. They don't do the norm. They just sort of veer off in all sorts of directions, which keeps it interesting. And I guess we're the same. The only difference being, I think, is that we don't really play. Our songs aren't very long. The longest one we got is just over 5 minutes, I think.
Oh.
But if I remember rightly now, when I've seen Rush in recent years, some of their songs are trimmed down. They've sort of, I think they've learned how to keep the interest more. It's not so self-indulgent anymore.
Yeah.
But I've actually enjoyed all the changes that the band have done. But we seem to be, there's always similarities with Rush. People tell us so.
Yeah. If you ask a purist, Rush in the last decade or so is not really a straight-ahead prog band anymore. I mean, not many of the leading prog bands of the 70s and 80s are anymore. So you
prog,
guys,
it's funny, isn't it? But my idea of prog, or what I keep on getting told, is that prog should have a mellotron, should have lots of voices and ethereal sounds. Where I think prog, the word progressive is all about development and pushing forward and progressing, and I think Rush have always done that, and we try and do something, we try and do a similar thing ourselves. We don't stick to any one style or sound. We're constantly changing things, but there is like an underlying sound that we have, which I hope we can keep, because I think it's very, very difficult to get an original sound these days.
Yeah,
there's a lot of bands, you can put an album on, and then another album by another band, and sometimes it's hard to tell who is who. So I think to have a proper identity is quite important, especially these days.
True.
Otherwise, you just get lost in the quagmire of all these different bands,
True. You ever heard it was not a joke, a funny blog post recently, an older gentleman a younger person was saying, I went to see a prog concert. I saw LinkedIn in concert. Or not LinkedIn. I got social networks in the brain. Linkin Park.
I love the energy of Linkin Park, actually. I think they've got a great energy.
Yeah, but are they prog?
No.
They're very poppy, right? I hear what you're saying. I like bands in that vein, Paramore. Who knows? You can.
Yeah, they seem to be quite popular.
But the punchline of the joke is, they're not really prog. Why do you call them prog? Well, because they had a laser show in the concert. So it's Mellotrons, it's laser show. There's various little gimmicks.
So you're dealing with the public, and the public are very fickle. They don't, everyone's got a different opinion about what's what, and and how this should sound and how that should sound. I think what you've got to do if you're in a band, you just got to try and remain true to yourself, and just do what feels right to you, and just hope that people go along with what you're doing. There's bands like Muse who were going an awful long time, but it took the general public to. I think it took them a while to catch on. My bass player, I remember seeing Muse playing in little pubs with only a few people in the audience, but eventually they started picking up and people caught on.
Oh.
And I think you've just got to keep it going. I think they're in their 15th or 16th year or something on the Muse, or maybe more now.
So tell me, how do you guys go about writing what's your writing process?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. We don't really have a writing process. The songs come in all different forms. They sometimes come just from a couple of lyrics. Sometimes I'll just be messing around in the studio with a bass line. Like we've got a song called Blindside, and that came about with me in the studio just playing my bass for a distortion effects unit, and I was just riffing away, and then it all started coming together. And while we were writing, I was writing it with a guitarist who's no longer in the band. His father died while we were actually working on the song, and he felt compelled to write some words about that, about how it was strange that one minute his dad's there and the next minute his dad's sort of on the other side. And it's just a strange feeling, realising that, that he's no longer there, he can't talk to him anymore. And that sort of sparked the idea of Blindside off. And so there is no set way. I mean, there's another song, Burn. We just got thinking about one of the guys who's in our road crew, and he's a motorbike enthusiast, and he loves the freedom of being on his motorbike. And that sparked off that one. And Paul, the bass player, took me out into a field where with like a laptop computer, and he made me record his motorbike zooming past down a country lane, and that's how we start the song off live. We've got a sample of his motorbike, and
that's like Van Halen. Do you remember? Well, the Panama was about a car, yeah. And they got a clip of Eddie Van Halen's Lamborghini in the studio.
I think if you're sensitive to all different things, you can get ideas from just about anything around you. But there is no set way. I just pick things out of the air sometimes. Yeah. But the thing is, you've got to remain open to it. You've got to keep on doing it to pick these things. Because I think it's almost like songs are there. You just got to find them. That's how it feels sometimes. It's almost as though they write themselves. Very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. Usually happens about 2:00 in the morning.
Speaking of that, I mean, how long have you been doing this night owl operation?
What, as a musician myself, you mean?
Well, no, you're up at 2:30 a.m. your time. I mean,
yeah. Well, we've just got back from Belgium. We were doing a festival out in Belgium supporting Blaze Bayley, and every time we do a gig, and we're one of a line of bands that are supporting the headline act, we sort of notice things about our equipment, how we can maybe get the setup done quicker, because you get a certain amount of time to put your equipment on stage and set up. So I'm always working on ideas of how to make the equipment more practical and easier to set up and faster to set up. So at the moment I'm up at 2 in the morning making cable looms for our sequencer rig. We use MIDI pedals. We don't have a keyboard player.
Oh, yes.
We sort of trigger things with our feet and with sequencers, very similar to Rush actually.
Yeah.
And we need to be able to set that up quicker in a festival situation. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. I'm just putting the new keyboard rig together, the sequencer rig together.
Oh, neat.
So tonight is cables.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. I sure hope you don't have a day job then with that kind of schedule. What do you do?
No, what I did, I mean, I've been in bands in the past and I've had record deals and things, so I invested the money from my deals in the past and my royalties, and I bought properties around the area where I live, and I rent them out so that I can have an income while I can get this band where I need it to be. I'm very aware that sometimes bands don't make any money, sometimes they can, but generally they have to survive, basically. So yeah. I've got myself a situation where I've got a small income that keeps me going so that I'm able to carry on doing this.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it. So you just got off a tour or a brief festival stint. What's up next?
We've got more festivals this year, but only in the UK so far. Although our PR lady says there's one over in Germany, which I don't know any details about it yet. But we're trying to do more festivals this year because we've gone from a 4-piece down to a 3-piece, and we're really enjoying it. It's making us all work a lot harder, but the feeling is great on stage. So we're going to pursue that, and we thought it might be good to take our show out, to sort of larger audiences. So we're going to try and do more festivals this year.
Cool. Well, where do people find you online?
Limeshark.com.
Easy. One last stupid question. What is Limeshark from?
Limeshark was where we were on holiday in Australia, a group of us, and the bass player was dangling his legs over the side of the boat. And he didn't get bitten, but he got nudged by something, and he looked down, and there was a huge shark below. And I don't know what it was, but it looked lime. It actually looked like a lime green. It frightened the life out of us, actually. So that's where we got the name from.
As good as any. Very good. Cool. Well, thanks for talking.
Okay, it's really nice to talk to you as well, Ben. Cheers.
Let's listen to a full-length track from Tony and the Boys. This is called Not Quite Nashville. Thanks for listening.